She broke up with me in the end of February. This wasn't our first breakup, but I was still surprised at how painful it could feel. Of course, I felt shocked, surprised, heartbroken, sad, all that sort of stuff. I cried, did all the usual things that maybe you've done when you've had breakups. It was actually the beginning of one of the most remarkable journeys of my life. Hey there, it's Clay with modernlove.life, and over the past couple weeks I've been sharing with you some stories about the history of me and my big ex and how everything happened between the two of us. I haven't really shared this story in its full entirety, mostly just glossing over it because I just assumed that you didn't care about my story and that you just wanted to know the quick tips or the 7 ways to do this or whatever. But I'm trying to step more into this and share more of my story. My big ex and I, we broke up for a 3rd time, believe it or not. I told in previous videos about our first breakup and our second breakup. After we got back together that 2nd time, we were both young adults. I had just finished my bachelor's degree in architecture, and I was stepping out into the real world, getting my first office job, and finding out that the architecture world isn't as glamorous as you might think it is. That's where I was at. I was really frustrated with a lot of things in my life. My ex at the time, she had just transferred from community college to finish her degree in a 4-year university, and it was about 2 hours away from where I was living in Seattle. And so we'd do the whole long distance thing every couple weeks. I'd go out and visit her, or she'd come out and visit me, and that was going more or less okay. But she was interested in taking her life in a different direction. I was not interested in the whole rat race thing because it seemed kind of overbearing to think about the idea of just working in an office job for the next 40 years or something. That's totally fine if that's where you're at and that's what you like to do and that's in alignment with who you want to be and all that stuff. But that wasn't what I wanted. I wanted to have an interesting life and see the world and do interesting things and travel and all that sort of stuff. And so I was feeling a little bit frustrated. Whereas my ex, on the other hand, she was wanting to seek greater and greater levels of conformity. She, for reasons I don't need to go into right now, wanted to live as normal of a life as possible, as cookie cutter of a life as possible. She was getting interested in the church. Not that there's anything wrong with the church, but her intention for being in the church was that it was like a block of time every week where you could just go and there was nothing expected of you. All you had to do was just, conform and follow the certain rules, sing this hymn at this time, and turn around and say, peace be with you at a certain time, all that sort of stuff. So we were sort of going on divergent paths in terms of our values. And I guess it's really no surprise that some problems arose between the two of us. I was still surprised when this whole breakup happened. I was still surprised that it happened. And I was understandably upset after all of this. I went through all the all too familiar breakup things that I suppose you may have heard me talk about in the previous videos, and you've probably gone through yourself. The big emotional upsets, the damage control mode, the everything else. I was still nonetheless shaken, and so I spent the next few weeks just going through my emotions, dealing with them. I spent a lot of time just sort of, feeling them out and feeling sad and depressed and everything else in between. And then an interesting thing happened. A coworker of mine, she actually told me that she was going through a breakup as well too. And so the two of us started to spend some time together, and we went out to lunch a few times, and we'd console each other and all that. And naturally, like anyone else in that sort of situation, any young naive man like I used to be, I started to develop feelings for her. I would do things to try to impress her, do things to try to get into a relationship with her and all that sort of stuff. And I didn't know much about dating or relationships back then, because me and my big ex, we'd been together for 7 years. I first got together with her when I was a junior in high school, and I had no actual real life dating experience. My legit only dating strategy was to help a woman with her algebra homework until she fell in love with me and wanted to be in a relationship. And obviously that's not going to work in the real world. But anyway, I got feelings for this coworker, and things didn't go so well because she didn't feel the same way about me, and that's fine. Around that time, I actually started to notice that there were some sort of emotional similarities between her and my ex. Both of them weren't willing to take responsibility for their own feelings. They wanted to blame other people for how they felt. They had some other things and all that. And I'm not going to go into any of this and say that it's wrong or right or whatever. It just wasn't what I knew was right for me. There I was sort of heartbroken again because I'd gone through all these breakups with my big ex, and then there was this coworker who I'd gotten feelings for, and she wasn't interested in me. And so I found myself in this pretty dark place, this pretty rough place, where I just thought hey, here I am. I'm this shy person who's around this time I must have been 24 years old. I'm this shy person. I had some social anxiety. I had no experience dating. I didn't think that anyone would love me. Is this it? Am I just going to be alone forever? Is love just some sort of elusive thing that I'm just never going to be able to have? And so I remember sitting there at a little coffee shop not too far from where I lived on this street that has stores and stuff on it, and I just remember making this decision hey, I don't know how this is going to work out. I don't know if this makes sense. I don't know if this is actually going to come into fruition. I don't see how this could ever work out. But I'm determined to make this breakup with my big ex into the best thing that's ever happened to me. And I didn't know how to do it. I didn't know what it would take for that to happen. I saw no path, but I was committed to it, and I just started to believe that it was true. And I can honestly say that it has been one of the best things in my entire life. Obviously I'm older now. I'm 39, at least currently, and there are some things that are maybe a little bit better than my breakup with my big ex, meeting my wife and the birth of my daughter and some things like that. But I can honestly say that the breakup with my big ex was one of the best things that's ever happened to me. And this is why. It caused me to address some challenges that I was experiencing. It caused me to grow as a person. It caused me to look at how I was showing up in the world around me, how I was showing up in relationship, how I was showing up in uncomfortable situations, how I was showing up with so many different areas of my life. I was letting fear control me, fear rule me, fear, anxiety, insecurity, feelings of not enough determine how I viewed myself and how I allowed myself to show up when it came to dating, when it came to relationships, when it came to lots of things in life. And I had to go through this journey of learning how to step out of my comfort zone and do things like ask a woman out. I left the algebra book at home and just got in the habit of striking up conversations with attractive women that I didn't know. I did the whole online dating thing. I had to learn how to actually express my interest. There was a lot of shame and insecurity that I felt about actually telling a woman, hey, I find you attractive. I had to get through all of that. One day I was just logging into my Match.com account because I was doing online dating as well. And if you've ever done online dating before, you probably log in and you get used to seeing sort of the same set of faces over and over and over again. Well, anyway, that day I just decided to hit the button that says, sort by newest people. And I did that, and then there was this face of this beautiful woman looking back at me. And I read her profile, and it seemed interesting. It seemed like there was some substance there. And so I sent her a message, and we ended up meeting up in person, and had a great date. And the first date turned into the second date, and the second date turned into the third date, and so on. And eventually this woman became my wife. However, I would have never been able to be the man that could have caught her interest had I never gone through this journey. Had I never been able to get over my fears, my insecurities, my doubts, my feelings of lack and not enoughness and all that sort of stuff, to the point that I can honestly say thank you to my big ex for sending me on this beautiful journey, for breaking up with me, for creating the circumstances that allowed me to become the man that I needed to be to get this great, wonderful woman that I now call my wife in my life. Of course, there's still a lot that I had to learn and to grow into. I mean, it's not just a matter of meeting the right person and then you live happily ever after. And there's still a lot more for me to still learn and grow into, because life is a never-ending journey. But that's one of the best things that's ever happened to me, and that's what I want for you. I want you to be able to turn your breakup not just into some terrible thing that happened to you to feel bad about and feel regret about, but for you to look at it as some powerful catalyst that you may have used to become a better person, to go on some journey, maybe not the same journey as me, but maybe a journey that's right for you. I really do believe that you can do this. I do believe that you can have this wonderful experience of turning whatever setback you have in life into a hugely powerful step forward. And so, me and my ex, we weren't right for one another. We had different values. She wanted to seek comfort. She wanted to seek security. I wanted something else in life. And so it didn't make sense for us to be together. In order for us to be together, one of us would have had to be unhappy, or both of us would have had to be unhappy. And that's not fair. So it made sense for us to not be together. Does that mean that you going through your breakup, you're not going to work things out with your ex? You shouldn't work things out for your ex? No, because obviously you're a different person than me, and your partner is a different person than my ex was. But no matter what the external thing looks like, no matter what your relationship journey looks like, I believe that you can use this as a tool for personal growth and development to become someone that you would find unrecognizable in the best possible way, maybe 6 months or a year from now. I believe that we can all grow and we can all learn something valuable from our experiences. And I believe that you can do this as well too. I know it may not be easy. I know it may be very difficult. I know it can be hard when you're lying on the floor with tears running down your face and it just seems like everything's been robbed from you. I get it. I've been there more times than I care to admit. But you're going to have to pick yourself up. And you're going to have to say, I deserve more than this. I deserve to be loved for who I am. I deserve to step out of my fears. I deserve to step out of my limitations that I'm putting on myself. I deserve to step out of the limitations that I've let others put on me. And I deserve to be in the relationship that I've always wanted, where I can be loved for who I am. That's what I've been trying to communicate to you through all of these videos on this channel for the past, 10 years or so. Is that you do deserve this. You do deserve to be loved for who you are. You do deserve to have a great relationship. Yeah, you might have feelings for a certain person. Whether that's, in my case, my big ex in the past, or this coworker that I had feelings for and all that. And sure, if it makes sense for the two of you to be together, yeah, you can definitely make that happen and use what we talk about on these videos and use what we talk about in our courses over at modernlove.life and all that sort of stuff to make that happen. But the most important journey that you go on is really the journey of discovering who you are, the journey of stepping into the version of yourself that you most aspire to be. Getting rid of unworthiness, getting rid of feelings of insecurity, feelings of I'm not good enough, feelings of love is hard, love has to be a battle, men and women can't be on the same team, whatever your limiting belief might be. That's the most important thing. And if you just work on that stuff, if you just let this breakup be like a wake-up call that gets you to focus on that stuff, then the great relationship will show up for you. Maybe it's with your ex, maybe it's with someone else, maybe, who knows. But the great relationship will show up for you. And it's just going to become like the icing on the cake. The most important thing, and I've been going over this with our commit coaching students and all that, but the most important thing is that you just bring yourself into alignment with what you want. You bring yourself into alignment with the kind of relationship that you want, the kind of love that you want, the kind of acceptance that you want, all that sort of stuff. And as you do this, you're going to become a different person, and you're going to start to behave differently in your interactions with other people. And more importantly, and more interestingly enough, you're going to start to draw different sorts of experiences and people to you. Like, I tended to have a certain type of woman that I was drawn to and happened to be drawn towards me. But as I started to push through my own limits and limiting beliefs and all that sort of stuff and grow as a person, I found that there was a different type of person, a different type of woman that was interested in me. That's the reason why I'm able to have a relationship with my wife who is vastly different than my ex or any of the women that I was interested in the early processes of dating. And you can do this. The relationship is really the icing on the cake. The most important thing is who you get to become as the result of this experience and any other experience that you might have. So I'm hoping that you can understand this, and that the main goal of all of this isn't just to get you back together with your ex or to get you into some great relationship. That's just going to be the after effect of learning to love yourself, learning to see your own value as a person, learning to grow and step into discomfort and do all these things. I hope that you can see that. I hope that you can get that. And I hope that this makes sense to you. Anyway, if you found this helpful, please go ahead and leave a comment down below letting me know what your breakup experience has been. And also, please feel free to check out this video playlist over here where I go through more of my personal story about my previous breakups with my big ex. Anyway, take care, and I'll talk to you later.